I'm sorry, Chris Davis. Okay, we're good. That's the whole show. The entire show is going to be me apologizing to Chris Davis for doing anything else with my time other than making podcasts for him to enjoy. So we're Almost Agreement at gmail.com. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, and YouTube. Go to the website, almostagreement.com. Check out what we got going on there. I don't have anything exciting going on the website right now, but check it out anyway. It's another place for you to find the email, almostagreement at gmail.com. We're on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Go to your favorite podcast provider. Get us there. Tampa still sucks at hockey. I don't know. I'm trying. But anyway, yeah, 2 weeks. We took a week off. I was on vacation. Sorry, not sorry. And instead of torturing you guys with a weird Zoom show, I just figured we'd just take the week off. So, Almost Agreement, everybody. We're going to do a show. I'm really excited to get back into the groove thing. Many items, many things, all sorts of action going on. Both the week we didn't cover and then the week that just was. So we'll start somewhere and go and see what happens. So anyway, this is Almost Agreement. Everybody, here we go. So maybe I should start with, we're bummed because the Preds Penguins 2-game series this year, their home trade-off games are home in fucking Finland. Sweden, whatever. Some Scandinavian country where my peoples are from, I think, maybe. So it's a home series, but it's on this international series they're doing, so we won't get to see it. We'll get to see it on TV maybe, but they're not coming to Nashville is the moral of the story here. And I'm bummed. And I skipped a step. Hey, buddy, how you doing? How's it been?
Not too bad. How are you?
What's new with you?
Nothing.
All right. Now we're back to normal. I see. This is what happens. You take a week off and you forget how to do what you're supposed to do. So anyway, I'm a little disappointed that we don't get the opportunity to try to go to a Preds game this year. I mean, we could go to some other Preds game, but I don't care about other Preds games.
I'll have a few other ones.
I suppose. They only play like 95,000 games a season or something.
They were talking about adding 2 more games, I think. Maybe in the next coming up season or 2. Going from 82 to 84, I think.
I mean, I get it. I get it from a financial standpoint. I understand the logic in the profession that is hockey. Like, not from the player standpoint, but from, the team owners and the cities that host them and the front office. I understand the logic of why you would want to have more games.
So I wonder if it's in preparation for, because they've talked of adding maybe a couple more teams, like 2 or 4.
But they don't, I don't know. I don't know what the rules are. Like, because
they basically added 2 in the past 5 or so years.
Yeah, but I don't know what the rules are in hockey like they are in other sports. Like football is very specific. It has, you play your own division twice, once home, once away. You play. And then you play this different combination of different divisions on AFC, NFC, and then the odd game ends up being whoever had the closest record to yours last year or something like that. That's why you always have a Super Bowl rematch because generally speaking, they both had the best records or some of the best records in football. They also do that one usually. There's Super Bowl rematches in Germany or something like that this year.
I think they did London last year or year before. Yeah,
they do a bunch of games in London. Anyway, so I understand how the NFL schedule is formulaic though. Like it's every 4 years. Like for my Packers, every 4 years they play every team in the AFC South, which includes the Tennessee Titans. And then, but last year Green Bay came to Nashville. So 4 years from now, when Green Bay plays the AFC South again, Tennessee will go to Green Bay. So for me to get a Packers game back in Nashville, I got to wait 8 years. And so I don't know if hockey has the same rule. Like I don't know what the hockey rules are about. Like you got to play your division this many times because it seems like they play at least everybody in the league in a home series. Like it seems like.
Yeah, I'm sure there's some formula to it.
Right. It seems like because Pittsburgh and Nashville are not in the same division. They're not in the same conference.
Right.
So none of that lines up. But
I think that's why they only do 2 games.
Right.
Versus you play more within your division.
Right. But you play one game. Pittsburgh every year though. It seems like Pittsburgh comes to Nashville and Nashville goes to Pittsburgh. They play a home and home series against every team in the NHL.
If you're only going to play them twice, you might as well make it fair.
I agree. I'm just saying that if that's part one of the formula, part two of the formula is you play teams in your division more, and then you play teams maybe you play division teams 4 times and conference teams 3 times. I don't know.
I'm sure it's something like that.
But so the question is, if they're going to add a team, does that force them to then add games to make that formula stay functional? Or do they say, okay, well, we added 2 teams to each conference, the Western and Eastern Conference in the NHL. That opens up this many required games. Well, then we're going to start taking off the non-conference games from people's schedules. You could still keep more or less the important parts live. It's just whether or not, you lose, especially some of the original 6 games, because you have some of those teams in the Eastern Conference and some of the Western Conference. So if you drop that, that'd be a bummer. Like if you don't have Boston playing St. Louis at least twice a year, that's a bummer. But that's a Western Eastern Conference split. So again, I don't know what the rules are.
I'm sure there's some kind of rule to it.
But I don't and again, I understand why hockey wants to add more games, but I object wholeheartedly. The biggest problem with hockey to me is how many fucking games they play. And hockey players are different. They are fucking tough, at least, so they play every fucking game. That's always my complaint about basketball is guys will skip road trips. They'll take a couple weeks off here and there throughout the season in basketball because they're tired.
No, do they?
To recover and get feeling better and whatever. Which I'm not trying to be hateful per se on it, but I don't know. It's like...
I know Ovechkin got grief at least like once or twice for skipping the All-Star game for his ability to be able to rest.
Yeah.
Like, wait, but you're one of the best players. He's like, yeah, but I'd rather have a week off.
I'm also old and exhausted, and I'm going to take a long weekend when I get the opportunity and not skip real games.
Right.
It's all I don't know. That's kind of where I'm at on it. They just don't need to add more games to hockey. It's already too long of a season.
It's a long season.
So 165 games or whatever is enough.
So look at how they figure out, because with that many games and teams so spread far apart, I've noticed, just watching the Preds, usually if they go up to Canada, they'll do like a stretch of the 3 or 4 teams in Canada, or like Seattle cool. And going up into Canada and Vancouver. Yeah,
which has got to be a pretty cool thing, because I would say periodically when they do some of those stretches, especially like in Canada and stuff, they're probably playing in high schools. They're doing practices in high schools and colleges in the area.
I think you're required to give the away team day of.
They get by noon day of. They get some ice time. Yes.
Yeah.
But if you played in Edmonton tonight, and then you're traveling to Vancouver, you're probably you either stay you're not playing Vancouver tomorrow. You're playing Vancouver 2 or 3 nights away, but you're not coming home to Nashville for that interim because it's only a day or 2 between the games.
Right.
You're either staying in Edmonton and doing.
If you're lucky, you got 3 days in between.
Right, but I'm saying you stay in Edmonton for the night after the game, and then you do a practice during the day the following morning, and then you travel to Vancouver, and then get your day of ice time, and then you're there.
Yeah.
Somewhere in that, they're probably squeezing a practice in, whether it's in the city they just played in or the next city. But then it's also not. They're not likely to be practicing in the arena that they play the games in. The team that lives there is probably not giving them their facility, but the NHL has probably worked out some sort of deals with, especially again in Canada, when you've got probably middle schools that have better rinks than we have in Knoxville. Period, kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That they're getting quality practice time in a quality facility, even though they're on the road. Like I want to say, going back to football because I know football better. There was a while back where I think it was Seattle played Miami and Carolina in back-to-back weeks, and instead of flying back to Seattle from Miami, they went to I think they went to Augusta or Athens, and did a whole bunch of stuff with Georgia's football team. Like they did some practices with Georgia's football team, and then they used some of Georgia's practices, something like that. Maybe Clemson or whatever.
All right.
They used some East Coast college facilities to practice.
So I was about to say,
instead of flying back and coming back.
I don't think I've ever been inside of it, but I've seen. No, I have been inside of our practice facility. It's pretty nice.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, the Certapro painters painted it. They put it in their advertisement.
Yeah.
So you get to see the facility while they're doing their advertisement. So
it's fancy.
I mean, it's a
pain in the ass when I had to take a delivery there. I'm like, where the fuck am I going?
I mean, speaking of, the University of Tennessee has raised in donations like $400-something million this year. Like some ridiculous, the most they've ever raised which beat last year, which was the most they ever raised last year in some ridiculous sum.
Where's it all coming from?
Where's it all going?
Okay, yeah.
Why does the city of Knoxville paying a dime for this stupid footbridge? While the city of Knoxville is losing federal funding for a bunch of other shit. But the city of Knoxville is still going to put $13 million or whatever into this fucking walking bridge. In case your bridge doesn't work, we're turning it into a walking bridge just to get a couple more years out of it. And we're building a bridge for the University of Tennessee, but like a big housing grant, like it was a $47 million total grant that got murked in the Big Beautiful Bill. And so it's like a huge sum of money that had it was almost all East Knoxville stuff. It was some of the grant stuff was from Trump's perspective, I'm not agreeing with it, but from Trump's perspective, it was a bunch of woke bullshit. But it was basically it was a bunch of stuff that was like equity and inclusion stuff. It was from the Biden administration. I can't remember what the grant was under. I don't know if it was the Infrastructure Act or whatever, but it was like specifically. I think the Reconnecting Communities grant was part of this grant, or maybe it was all of it. And the reconnecting the guidelines for the grant were something along the lines of basically trying to invest in recovery from urban renewal and redlining from the 60s and 70s stuff.
Okay.
And so it says so here in Knoxville we have our very own version of it. You can look it up. I'm not making this shit up. It's true history. James White Parkway, where the Civic is now, where the old police department is, all that stuff, where the new stadium is, the new multi-use stadium is, all that stuff the baseball stadium was a neighborhood called the Bottom, all black families, that when they wanted to bring James White Parkway in, they just kicked these people out of their house, tore their houses down, and built that stupid interstate to nowhere. James White Parkway, it is another bridge across the river, which is nice. Yeah. But other than that, it gets across the river and stops.
Goes to a park.
Right. Right. And God, that was so weird because that's when we lived down there. When I lived down there.
Yeah.
Was that dead period when they were still thinking they were going to try to go down to Townsend or whatever with it?
Yeah, I do remember that. Yeah.
And it was like, because it got through the black neighborhoods, that was no problem. But now it got into the white neighborhoods and they weren't as easy to push out of their houses, apparently. To get all these, because there's a huge amount of property that they're going to have to buy up and move and eminent domain and all that kind of shit.
Yeah, there's a lot in between there and Townsend.
Yeah, because it was supposed to, but it was supposed to be like a new back way, so you got the Chapman Highway way down, maybe not Townsend. It wasn't Townsend. You got the Chapman Highway going down to Sevierville, and I'd have to look at a map, but it was supposed to be kind of a get you towards Sevierville, get you towards, Kodak, I guess, in a much more interstate style highway than Chapman Highway. It's just kind of the 2-lane with all that kind of crap.
Yeah,
the 4-lane highway. Anyway, so part of that grant was supposed to add a walking bike trail to the James White Knoxville Bridge, the bridge that goes over the river right there that we're talking about. Mm-hmm. So instead of it being a car-only bridge, they were supposed to do some reconstruction on that bridge to format it into so you could walk from. Again, we were talking a couple weeks about the greenways and stuff like that. Part of this grant was to get it so you could go from Urban Wilderness, Imes Nature Center, all that kind of stuff, and walk all the way up through Knoxville without having to get on any major roadways.
Yeah.
Which, you're kind of on a major roadway, but it's a special portion of a major roadway. I don't know if they're going to try to plant trees on it or what, but at least it was supposed to be a designated walking, biking area separate from the car traffic on it. Which they could absolutely go down to 1 lane each direction and be more than enough for what little traffic uses that bridge. I've never
really seen it during rush hour to see.
I've never been on that bridge when it's ever been remotely busy.
Yeah.
So anyway, that grant's not coming in, and the American candidate is not using the new money that she may get from this tax increase if the voters agree to it to make up for that missing grant. The city is still planning on paying for their portion of the UT walking bridge, and again, it was the largest single grant that Knoxville had ever gotten that got pulled back in this deal, and it was all focused on trying to reattach East Knoxville to the rest of the city.
Sounds beautiful.
I mean,
and big.
I don't know. Like, I think it's kind of weird that you could take it back. I mean, I guess the money wasn't transferred yet, so it wasn't. I don't know how the process works exactly. But
I mean, you can essentially. I think you can like rewrite any previous legislation as long as the wording's in there correctly.
I don't know, whatever. But that one, and then since we're going on to federal stuff and big, beautiful bill actions, Knox County Schools also lost, like, I can't remember. It wasn't that much. It's like $3 million.
Yeah, I saw something about it. I thought it was like 300,000, but some stories with like how this could affect local schools.
Yeah, and so it's kind of weird. Like, I tried to follow it. I watched a little bit of the thing from Mr. Reiswick on it. Essentially, again, like we've theorized much on, and we still don't know the exact answers. But for the most part, the only thing the Federal Department of Education does in K through 12 is special ed, or like civil rights violation kind of shit.
Yeah,
and so they don't actually. It's not Federal Department of Education funds that are going into Knox or local schools per se, but the Federal Department of Education is protecting local students from their own school districts if their school districts are behaving poorly. Which I guess that's not, but that's a more positive. I don't know with the special ed. I don't know how. Like, it's very unclear. Like, it's weird, but like there was a big shell game that Reiswick and the brains at Knox County Schools did, moving stuff around, and so they did theoretically lose some positions, but they're not really firing anybody. They're moving people out of a different spot to cover the role that these other people were doing that aren't getting funding anymore. And so it's all just kind of weird. The biggest, really what's, like if I understand it correctly, what's losing are the gifted and special, the smarter kid part of the gifted stuff. Not the gift.
Yeah, I did see something about that.
And so what it is that there was like 14 positions that ran out of central office that had no dedicated school, but they would get assigned to different students. And they would go visit those students periodically through the week or multiple times a week, pull them out of class, bring them into a different place to give them advanced education on a topic or whatever, do some stuff with them, teach them all that kind of stuff, and then put them back in their classrooms. And so I think they called them coaches. And so those coaches are being pulled over to cover this other thing that the federal money isn't paying for anymore. And they're going to take the gifted programming and basically dump it on their regular teacher. So if you're a science teacher at a middle school and you have a particular student who is showing an aptitude for it or whatever, you are to find time to educate them on the more advanced version of it that these gifted coaches were doing separately. And you're supposed to plan that into your day, which is kind of crazy. But so, I mean, kudos, I guess, to Reiswick and the team for making, lemonade here. And trying to keep as many of these balls in the air as they can, even if they're losing money.
Right.
I haven't heard from any of the teachers yet on how much more this puts on their plate that they already have that's overflowing. But yeah, that's the federal news from the last 2 weeks as far as it involves local stuff, as I know of.
I did see an article today that the city put out a survey that people could sign on. I guess it was asking questions about what you would want out of parks, or then what reasons are you not going to parks, or what can we do to increase kind of park awareness and make them more welcoming.
You want the answer? I don't want to get bothered by bums.
Well, that was I guess it's like the second time they've put out. I guess they've gotten some responses back, and a lot of people said there was like safety concerns as to why they don't go to some parks.
It didn't come up, damn it. I'm trying to find my power pole this week I've weaseled my way into being one of the movers and shakers. And I get, it's interesting, because the power pole was on the new tax and some other stuff like that. But I mean, again, like, I think I'd be curious to see that poll as well as,
this is relatively new, so I don't think they've compiled.
I would love to see some of the results and stuff for said thing. Because I think it is interesting, and I think it would be. I would be very interested to see what people's reason for not using parks is. I don't have time would probably be a pretty standard one. We don't.
Part of it's like, I guess what would you like added to parks, or because I know they added a whole bunch of stuff to
Lakeshore. I
Lakeshore,
haven't been.
yeah.
I need to make an occasion to go wander around there a little bit because we went up there a couple times over the winter when it was snowing and did some sledding.
Yeah.
Where my eldest and his friends immediately found there's a bunch of different walls that are still up from whether they were dirt retaining walls or they were foundations to some of the buildings they tore down. And so on that big hill that goes down to the intersection of North Shore and Lionsview, that big hill where everybody sleds, there's definitely a couple of spots where there's some walls and some drop-offs, and that's the first thing they did. And I watched one of my kids' friends do it, and he was on his chest on his sled, and he hit that wall and got some air, and he landed, and as soon as he hit the ground, he rolled over and was holding his chest because it just knocked the wind out of him so hard. And I was like, yeah, guys, do it.
I did it years ago, but I ramped off of, it was like one of the walking paths.
Yeah.
But it was like 3/4 of the way down, so that's some good speed going.
I've done that
I
one
remember
too.
thinking, I'm like, sat there, laid there for a second, thinking, I was like, I may have just broken my tailbone. But ended up being okay, but my ass hurt really bad. Or my tail hurt really bad.
Yeah, that was a tough one. I've had a few of those too. My favorite one was when I was at UT and it snowed one time real good. And we went up to the hill and we're sledding down the front of the hill. So towards Cumberland.
Yeah.
And it's a pretty steep hill, and then there's the circle road that runs up around, and so where it comes back down and it's one way down, it flattens out, and then it's the road, and then there's a curb, and then there's a sidewalk, and then there's a rail because after that rail it's super steep down. And I had a couple friends caught the rail and didn't go over it, thankfully, but still caught the rail and hit it pretty hard.
I was going to say, did they catch the rail or did they,
they
run into the rail?
Yeah, they caught it. They stopped themselves with it, but it was pretty abrupt. And we were using my favorite was we didn't do it. We didn't steal it to use it. We just used it because other people had used it before us. Is all the parking lots and stuff have these little these plastic A-frame signs. It's like commuter A or whatever that they'll put out at the entrances. Like, especially when it's like they have a game day version of them, and so these are game day lot, this, that, and the other. And so somebody had drug one up to the top of the hill and just flattened it out. And we could fit, I think we had 5 people on it.
Damn.
It's pretty fun. That was good. That was a good run down that hill. Anyway, I would be very, send me the link to that when you find it. I would like to.
I said it was on the main website.
The City of Knoxville?
Yeah.
Knoxville. Like I said, I don't know. I mean, I think I'd be interested. Urgent news? No. Updates for the K Street Bridge. I would be interested what the stats are on how many people use the parks and what's the matrix. I'll bet you there's a matrix somewhere in the Parks Department. Like average park users per day for all the different parks around town. And when and if like how many average users before you need to have a discussion on whether we're going to keep this park or we need to update this park or
try playknoxvilletn.com. I think that may be what it's on.
Parks and Recreation Master Plan. Share your ideas. Okay. Do it live. Follow-up survey open now. Interactive map. Different survey closed. Park system funding activity closed. View only. Help us understand your needs and priorities for the park system. All right. Reasons for okay. Ooh, okay. Jumps right in. All right. The initial online survey for Knoxville Parks and Recreation Master Plan provided a wealth of information on the needs and priorities of residents. However, some of the responses raised need for further understanding of residents' responses. This is a brief follow-up to that. Safety in parks. We learned that not feeling safe using parks/facilities was a top concern that prevented users from visiting parks and recreation facilities and amenities more often. Needless to say, this concern is very important to the city, and we want to learn more.
Okay, yeah, that's the one I just sent you, sorry.
It's okay. And we want to learn more on why you're feeling unsafe and what strategies we could use to improve. Reasons for feeling unsafe. Check the following. Please select all the reasons below that reduce the feeling of safety so you can do more than one. People feel unhoused and homeless. There are adults regularly hanging out in children play areas. I haven't seen that as much. other than like adults with their kids.
Yeah.
There are people, non-homeless, who appear to be engaging in drug or illegal activities. I mean, the Frisbee golf out in Carl Cowan Park, that smells like weed a lot.
Carl Cowan?
Or Admiral.
Oh, yeah.
Admiral Park.
Mm-hmm.
With the politely referred to hippie golf course. The Frisbee golf course.
All right.
Yeah,
I've never heard it called that.
I've always called it hippie golf. Anyway, there isn't enough lighting in the park, and I feel unsafe after dusk. Well, most of the parks aren't open after dusk.
Right.
Playground equipment or other amenities are broken. There are very few other park users. I don't know. Improvement strategies, more lighting, more programming to encourage use of the park, removal of tent encampments. Yeah, I would say removing people from living there is probably a priority. Replace or get rid of bad broken equipment. I agree. I'm not big on security cameras personally. Implementation of emergency call boxes. I like that. I'm not bad at that idea. More development nearby. More police or security on staff. More park staff. And other. We learned that residents see new and more programming, and we want to know more about the highly desired programming types. Group cardio, group mind-body, weight training, and nutrition programs. I don't want to go to the park to work out with people.
I kind of like, there's a couple of parks that have that where they've got like little stations where you can do sit-ups, pull-ups, etc.
Yeah.
Usually they're usually in conjunction with some kind of walking paths.
Right. So I don't mind the idea of having like the stuff available or whatever, but I just like, I don't know. Programming is not what I look for in a park unless it's like.
Yeah, there's some parks that do have like organized, like they'll have like a yoga.
Yeah, that's
like
what I'm saying.
One day a week or whatever.
And that's what they're asking about is like what activities would you want them to do? Festivals and cultural events.
I'd say we could use some nutrition education programs.
Yeah, but the people that are into it are going to be people that are already into it. You're not going to get people that need to be into it like that.
That's why you entice them.
Anyway, but that was in the health and wellness subset of programming. Festivals and cultural events, athletic special events. I don't know.
And do like free burgers, you just don't tell them like they're Impossible burgers.
Those aren't good for you. They're not meat, but they're not healthy. All right, I'll actually fill the survey out in the future, but interesting. I mean, I would say I will bet you I would argue right now that when this survey is completed, it's going to be homeless issues. That's going to be the number one. I don't know. Like maybe it's me, maybe I'm weird, but I have no. Like most of if I'm going to the park, it's not to engage with other people. It's to enjoy it with my family.
Right.
Or with my friends or people that I intend to go to the park with. It's not that I want to go and hang out with strangers. Maybe if it's like, rec sports and the kids are playing Sport X with rec sports, that's one thing. But
I have been to parks, and it did kind of mention in the survey that you're the only ones there, and it is that kind of like weird feeling of like, why am I the only one here? Like, this is kind of odd. Sometimes it's nice depending on how big the park is.
Right. But and again, though, it's like if it's empty, if it's empty because, you're not there to participate in it. You're going back to my original statement, I guess. It's like, it's not that you want to engage with strangers, but it is a part of being at a park is having other people around.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's nice to see other people enjoying a picnic as well.
But so the question is, how do you get other people to use the park? I don't think I really maybe I don't again I think it's just, I don't know that anybody would want to do fitness and stuff like that. I certainly have no desire to go to a park to watch a tournament of some sort. Maybe depends on the tournament. Maybe the soapbox derby. Maybe I should say that do that stuff and I can coordinate some of that stuff. I can get paid anyway. I do. I know the only other derby that I want to do would be on the hill like we were talking about earlier, but. If Parks and Recs comes to me and wants to set it up, I'll see about putting together a thing.
I mean, Lakeshore's pretty big now. You've got a couple of roads you could use. I wonder if there's like a width requirement if you could do on some of like the straighter walking paths, like point A to point B, as long as you lined it really well.
Yeah, I mean it'd be nice to do it with their staff.
Right.
I mean, Parks is in the building. I mean, like to me, like one of the things to me to get more direct on it is like I put in complaints about Rocky Hill ball fields. And yes, I guess maybe I'm thinking about it a little too personally, and I need to be a little bit more extractive with my thoughts. I would like Rocky Hill ball fields to have more activity going on. I would like more baseball to be played there, or softball, or like I know like the pub.
That's all they have right now.
They don't have much of anything. Like
I mean, as far as like what they have there, it's just softball fields, baseball fields.
It's just baseball fields. Period.
Just baseball.
I know they have. Well, I guess they're convertible. Like none of them have a mound, a natural mound. They all have like wood and carpet. They drag out the mound, and it's like a thing they just kind of set in place.
Right.
And they may throw some dirt on it or whatever, but it's still like just a thing, and so it can be that mound gets taken out and you're playing softball. That is the functional difference between the two types of fields. But
a playground.
I mean, right. But like and they've done some stuff to try to assuage the homeless issues up there. Like they used to have these cinder block bleachers, and so it was like these two little cinder block like staircase walls, and then they had these concrete piles that went across them to make these bleachers. They've taken those out and put in the little thin aluminum ones in place of them, because those big concrete ones you could throw a tarp in or whatever. You have a pretty easy little house where the bleachers, where the aluminum ones you can't really get under them.
All right.
But like they've gone into the scoring boxes behind the plate, and like just all sorts of stuff, like needles and shit like that.
Right.
And so part of that is, the security of those little, because they're not really buildings per se, but like they don't lock them, or there's no locks to them because nobody comes out and unlocks them when they're having a baseball game. I don't know how all that works. Who's the key master of the thing?
I thought they would keep some concessions in there unless they bring them in for.
Not the concessions booths. I'm talking about the scoring booths behind. Like each field has a scoring booth.
Oh, it's that small little caged in area.
Right. It's a little building. Like it's a little cinder block building, and it's like, I mean, like, theoretically, like if they're like, you could have somebody doing like a play-by-play, like calling the game up, sitting above, because it's, they're like a little 20-foot tall building.
Yeah, I've done scorekeeping those years ago.
Yeah.
Now I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
And so yes, I think maybe I'll back up. Like, yes, I would like more events going on there. I don't want some, what do they suggest down here? Athletic tournaments, one-off competitive sporting events involving multiple teams or individuals. Yes, I would like Rocky Hill ball fields to hold more baseball tournaments. Okay.
Victor Ash, they've done like some cross-country meets out there.
Yeah. I mean, yes, the more active, whatever they can do to, like, for that. I mean, but that's like I don't know, like, is that a solution? All right, so if the argument is the problem is that we have homeless encampments and stuff in and around and on the baseball, inside Rocky Hill Park, because it's a city park, and one of the solutions is to do more stuff there, because more people are there, it's less comfortable, or there will be more interaction. More interaction gets more removals. I mean, that's the game at play. And so it's like, I don't know, maybe like that could help somewhat. I would like to. I mean, and that's something I've actually thought about as a resident. I've thought about trying to do a neighborhood picnic up there, where we get some local, get like Butler and Bailey and some of the local businesses in Rocky Hill over here, maybe some of the other, nearby's Food City or something like that to sponsor it, and we do a big neighborhood picnic, and it's literally just to come hang out and meet your neighbors kind of event. Mm-hmm. But my thought process in doing that was going to be do it as a fundraiser so that we, as the neighborhood, could pay for XYZ to get the homeless camp out of the fucking woods up there. Not that was going to be the thing that got him out of it. It wasn't going to be the direct of how we get rid of it. That was going to be how we raise the funds to to do the things that we need to do to get rid of it.
What things do you think you need to do?
I mean, I think we need to go. I think one, and it sucks, is we need to go through and clear out all the woods. There's a couple of different like thickets up there. We need to just cut them down, which sucks. I think we just need to take a lot of the trees down, or at least a lot of the undergrowth down. Because especially like one section of it, like it's so like perfectly, like it is such a wall of vegetation growth. And then once you break through that initial wall, there's like a 15-foot wide like hallway, basically. It's like probably 200 yards long. It's 15 feet wide, where the outsides of it are super overgrown. But once all that overgrowth grows up, and there's no sun that comes inside, and so there's not a lot of growth inside. So like it's a giant room under there. There's tree trunks, but it's just a big clear space inside there.
Yeah.
And so it's literally, there's a couple little spots where there's break-ins, where you break into that thing. And then, but once you're in there, and there's a lot. I mean, there's stuff. There's just stuff. There's blankets, and like any couch that gets put on the street corner for free pick me up ends up in there. All that kind of stuff. You know, that'd be another thing, is to do some education with the neighborhood and be like, hey, quit putting crap out on the end of your driveway saying free take me, because it just ends up there. Yeah, or one of the solutions would be just go up there and clean. Like, you know, it's public land. If there's nobody there, it's litter, and so do cleanup events where you send a whole crew of people in there, whether they're volunteers or paid city employees, to go in there and clear out all the stuff.
Right.
And so at least the people that are living in there don't leave their stuff there. They might still come and sleep there or whatever, but they take their stuff with them as they wander. That would help a little bit. It would make it a little bit less comfortable to live in those spots.
Right.
So I don't know. I don't know. City elections are starting to work in. We got a bunch of different forums going on. We got a bunch of different candidates getting their things going. So far, nothing really fun and exciting out of any of the candidates.
So Larson J. sat down with someone.
Oh, well, Larson is now the chair of the new juvenile detention board that just got created.
Yeah, I think that's what.
And his campaign. About. I mean, he's not. He's campaigning, but his election's not till 26, so he's not really a concern right now. Election-wise, you know, like what's interesting, and this is get dorky. Everybody, go on the election commission website, pull up the financial disclosures. The partisanship of the donor base is real clear. We have 5 races. The only race that is kind of irrelevant is District 6. That's the East Knoxville minority district. There is not a lot of GOP money even bothering to try to go into that district. But you get into like the District 2 race, right out here in West Knoxville. You have you go down the list of donors, and these are major Republican donors in every race that Republicans are running in. These are the donors that do it. Some of them by name, and it goes for both ways. It's not a Republican Democrat thing, because then the other candidate who is a Democrat but can't run as a Democrat because it's a nonpartisan race format. Like Matt Shears is donating to some Democrats, some non-Democrats in this race, which I can't wait for the inevitable. We got this out-of-state, we got this out-of-state lefty loony trying to tell you who to vote for.
I'd say that probably won't get picked up unless it was a large figure that he was donating or whatever.
I mean, really, when it gets down to the brass tacks of it, the only district that's really in play is District 3. And there's one candidate in District 3 that's got a ton of GOP money. There is not a particular candidate in District 3 that has as strong a Democrat backing. And so if dollars win elections, if dollars win elections right now, the Republican-backed candidate is winning that election. But there's also 4 players in this primary, so we're going to have to see how this primary settles out before that.
See
what
how
did I say?
catty
District 3. I said District 3, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And there's a number of different races that have different levels of. Of investments and stuff like that. So it's going to be interesting. One of the things I didn't get to ask Scott when he was breaking that all down on his podcast is like different people like Andy Fox, Lauren Ryder, like current elected candidates, other people like Justin Lafferty has donated a couple of different campaigns, and I'm very curious what if it's them as individuals or their campaigns. Because if they have money in their campaign, they're allowed to donate to their campaigns.
Yeah.
But I do think that's supposed to be specified. It's not that Lauren Ryder, for example, is donating to Matt DeBartolone. It's Lauren Ryder's campaign fund is donating to Matt DeBartolone. I think they would have to specify the difference in the disclosure, but I haven't looked at the disclosure myself.
I know there was controversy in one of the recent elections, not local, but like national, when you started. I don't know if we've seen it locally, but you saw like, Republicans that were giving money to like a far left Democratic campaign.
Right, we talked about, there's that version, and we talked about AOC donating in some other New York State, other federal House of Representatives candidate race. Not her own district, in a different district in the state. Mm-hmm. I think that was one of the ones that we discussed in the past, which, again, like, I can get the argument both ways. Personally, if I gave you money to run for office, I don't want you to give my money to somebody else. If I want to donate to them, I'll donate to them.
All
right. That being said,
you're giving it to them to spend as they choose.
Not even that, but if I give you money to run for office and you've already won the seat, Lauren Ryder, for example, she can't run again. I think she's I don't think there's anything. That's a question I don't know the answer to. Chris Davis, since you're listening, shoot me an email if you know the answer to this question. almostagreement@gmail.com. Can a candidate you don't? Okay, so let's say I run for mayor. Let's back it up. Let's say I run for county commission, I win that seat. I collect $10,000 in donations in my run for county commission. I spend $6,000-$7,000 in my campaign. I got $2,500, maybe $3,000 left in my account. Right? I've got that $3,000 left in my account. I'm not spending it on anything. I decide I want to run for mayor of Knox County. Am I allowed to take that totality that's left over in my account and put it into my mayoral campaign? Because the people who donated it to me for run for county commission. I already won that seat. I'm not obliged to give that money back.
I would think there's some kind of legal way to transfer it.
I don't know, right. Well, it'd be the.
So I guess if it was in like your PAC or your,
no,
I don't know if you have to declare a title of your campaign funds.
Right. Well, it's not a campaign. I mean, it's my campaign. It's not a PAC. It's just my campaign.
Right.
And so it would be my campaign. I mean, it'd be my campaign donates to my new campaign because it's a different campaign, or maybe just because it's me personally, it just stays in the same. It's the same bucket. I don't know. Chris Davis knows. I bet you. Lightning still suck.
Sure, there's a way to legally transfer it.
I mean, I'm sure there is too. I'm just curious, like if it just looks like a donation from yourself, or if it looks like a donation from your previous campaign, or if it needs to be moved through some other entity in the process, like you give it to a advocacy group who then donates it to your campaign.
Yeah.
Because I know a lot of a lot of candidates, when they have leftover funds, because that's one of the issues they have over time. It's like, some rando's got like $20 left in his account and didn't win the seat, and that $20 just sits there. And as long as there's money in their account, they have to file their stuff. They have to file their quarterly reports, and it's just there's still $20 in here. There's still $20 in here. There's still $20 in here. But apparently, like, if you could donate that to a nonprofit, and it just go then you could stop filing because you donate it. You do the next filing that says you donate it. Your account's at zero. You close the account. You don't have to keep filing after that.
Yeah.
But you have to get the account to zero to do it. But you're not. I don't know. Again, it's a big question. But again, my point is, there's a number of there's. If you look at if you look at the disclosures right now on these city council races, there's a number of office holders in other places who are donating to current candidates running. And I would be curious to know if it came out of their campaign fund from previous runs or if it came out of their personal pocket.
It could be one way to do it. Like you're saying, that person or the people with like $20, they're like, well, was planning on using it for the next 4 years anyway. Go ahead and not have to file that anymore.
Right. So right. It could be a way to help empty the account when you have it, and it's a way to, pay back the people that helped you win in the first place at some level. It's like you're trying to, And I mean, sometimes it's obvious. I think the District 4 one, for example, it's obvious between Tallman and DeBartleban that Lauren and the constituency that elected her is going to be on Team DeBartleban. I can't ever say his fucking name. They're going to be on. She has endorsed him directly, but from her perspective, her style and her candidacy and her whatever is. And what her future of the city of Knoxville is more aligned with him than the other. And if this is a way to dump her account, because she swears she's not running for office again. I'm trying to get her to run for mayor, but, that's a personal thing. It's more a joke. Like, I announced it to Holaroo. Did I tell you about that?
No, I don't think so.
So we're at Holaroo, and so we made a big point of when the bars opened, Lauren and I bought the first drinks. Because she helped me, she was the key driver in helping me get the ordinance changed that let this be a thing. So, bartenders getting set up. We got the derby running. I'm running around full havoc. One of the other people that helped me put this thing together is like, "Hey, we're getting ready to open the bars." It's like, okay, somebody else take over this thing because I can't do it. I got to go buy a drink. And so me and Lauren go over. We get a drink. We take some pictures. And then as I'm walking away from the bar, I scream as loud as I can, "Bar's open!" And then I get up on stage and steal the mic from the MC who's talking through the derby race. I'm like, hey, just to interrupt real quick, the bars are open. I want to take a second to shout out Lauren Ryder for helping me out in getting this ordinance changed so that we could do this today. Thank you so much, Lauren. I look forward to supporting your mayoral run. And as soon as I say it, she's like, oh, she gives that face, like, quit saying that stuff. She doesn't want to run. And I think I don't remember if I acknowledged it to the crowd or not, but I did say it, so maybe I can force her into it.
Threw her hat in the ring.
I mean, I don't know. I don't think she. I'm not the first person to insinuate it to her. Like, she had told me that a number of people have asked her. But she also, I make the joke all the time. She's told me, and this is, I don't think this was a private thing. She told me, she has a countdown timer on her phone to when she is done.
Right. She
is counting down the days to be done. So, can't hate on her for that. But I will give her some shit. It's fun. I like Lauren. She's one of my favorite people I've met through all this, practically and personally.
Mm-hmm.
What else is going on? School system cuts. District forums are going on. Campaigns time donor trends. School board. Apparently, there's some weird connection. 90 years ago today, the parking meter was invented.
Really?
Yeah. And the guy who invented it was a newspaper guy, like Albuquerque or something like that. He started the Albuquerque Tribune or something like that. And he sold his paper to Scripps. Scripps stole his lighthouse logo and moved him to Oklahoma City. The guy who replaced him as editor in Albuquerque or whatever became News Sentinel's editor in 2001. Like June of 2001 is when he took over as editor-in-chief of News Sentinel. So he knew him anyway. The guy that invented the parking meter was the former boss of the guy who may still run the News Sentinel to this day. At least as far as the functional newspaper part of it. That's a random inside whatever. What else we got? Old Briggs hasn't collected. Speaking of campaign finance, Biggs has not has gotten 0 donations since shortly after his shit show of a controversy or whatever you want to call it. Did I tell you I saw he was in the 4th of July parade, the Farragut 4th of July parade?
Who was?
Biggs, excuse me. Yeah.
Can't remember if you mentioned that.
Well, we taped on Thursday. We didn't tape on 4th. We didn't tape on 4th of July. We taped on the Thursday before, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I don't think I've told you because I know we were off the next week. Yeah. So he was at the 4th of July parade, and it was him and a bunch of people with his T-shirts on walking around. It's a very nice truck, and I was thinking to myself, it would be very rude but very appropriate for me to scream out at him, "Hey, whose truck is that?" or that's a nice truck.
All right.
But I held tongue because it was not worth the stress of it. But apparently, this is a big effing deal. At least the money people that help get these campaigns rolling are not wanting to give him any for his run. So we'll see how it goes. He had a cool. The T-shirt was cool. He had a baseball jersey, a Bigs baseball jersey. It was kind of nice. I was kind of digging on it. It's a good look.
That was Smokey's jersey.
No, it looked more like a UT jersey, but it said Bigs on the back, and I don't know. It might have been a Tennessee jersey with Bigs on the back. I don't remember. But that was an interesting parade. Larson was not there. I was surprised Larson wasn't there, but Miss Betsy Henderson was. To which I had to yell at my mom, be like, no, thank you. No, just no, thank you. I don't know. That was interesting. Okay, so we're like, I had a moment while I was on vacation, hanging out with my family and talking politics stuff. And how you source your news matters. So last episode we talked about like the ICE raids and the mask thing and all that kind of stuff. Remember talking about that?
Yeah.
And so I was like, I don't remember how we got on the topic or whatever, but it was like, it's like, look, I'm not okay. I think I was regurgitating the same thing I said to you to my mom. It's like, I'm not okay with people putting masks on and stealing people off the street in my name. I'm not okay with that. That's like, if this is something we are doing because we think it's the right thing to do, then, we're doing it. And we shouldn't be hiding that we're doing it or hiding who we are doing it. We should be proud of it because this is something that we are doing. And she's like, that's not what's happening. I was like, Mom, this is exactly what's happening. I was like, there are people wearing masks who are obliged to wear masks by policy at this point because they're trying to protect their agents. And it's like, okay, and it's just like, I get to this point where it's like, maybe a better way to describe what I'm trying to get. It's like, for me to have a conversation on some of these topics, maybe the ICE one isn't the best example, but on local stuff, like for me to have a real conversation with people on local stuff, like there's so much groundwork I have to lay to have a reasonable conversation because they don't have any of the groundwork. My parents being examples, my brother and sister-in-law who live here. Like my sister's irrelevant because she's from Colorado and they've got crazy different laws over there. But, most of the family, not most of the family, the section of the family that lives in Knox County, that this is all relevant local stuff to them. Like there's so much preamble I have to put out before it's worth talking about because there's so much more going on than they're aware of. And it's like, okay, but you need to understand that this part is real. And it's like, it's a frustration of expertise for me. Like, it's like, I don't mind sharing the information. But it's like, if I'm going to go through all this process of sharing the information, I get real frustrated when you disagree with me after the fact. It's like, this is what's happening. I know this is what's happening because I pay attention to it. And then we're like, well, no, but yeah, no. And it's like, no, this is what's happening. You don't get to tell me no because you don't know. I do know. Unless you have something to I don't know. That's I don't know how to describe what I'm trying to say right now. Other than it's a very frustrating position for me to be in because so few people that I interact with actually understand how things work.
Yeah, some people just want to be able to see it with their own eyes. I find it hard to believe if somebody just tell them, especially if they've already had that initial skepticism. Of right, I don't think that's happening. Even after somebody explains it to them, they're still just like, yeah, but I don't know.
But it's like you don't know. I do. And unless you're going to come with something to tell me that I'm wrong, then you've got to accept the fact that you don't know, and maybe it's more frustrating because maybe it's more frustrating to me because it's family because it's like, okay, so you acknowledge you don't know and then you don't believe me when I say I do. That kind of hurts my feelings. Yeah. It's like I do know this, I do this. If you want to get to the brass tacks of it, I have regular interaction with, I have super regular interaction with Scott and Jesse, who are in the top 10 of people that understand all this shit. I have regular interaction with them. I have a bunch of interactions with other people. I've done things that very few people have done. I've put on special events. I've dealt with the government in ways that most people have never dealt with the government. I've opened multiple businesses. I've gone through all these permitting and licensing processes. I've done all these things. I've sat and talked to the people that make the laws. I've done all these things, and you still don't believe me. It's super frustrating.
Yeah.
And it's like, why am I bothering? Like, why? Like, and then the really, 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 really pissed off. It's like, I went all through all this effort to preamble this to you and explain all the groundwork. Like, I guess maybe that's the way to do it. It's like you asked me a question. And it's like, well, I know the answer to your question, but my answer is irrelevant unless you understand A, B, C, D that happens before my answer that's E. And I can understand the perspective of, I don't really want to hear all this, just I want to understand my question, but you're not going to understand the answer that I'm giving you if you don't understand those parts.
True.
And it's like, I don't know what to do with that. Like, I don't know how to, like, you know, I remember joking on the show, like, back in the early days, we got to figure out how to simplify this for people. And it's like, well, we can't do that. And it's like, you're right, we can't do that. But how do we get it more, or at least more palatable? Which I think we can do. It's just we don't keep it on topic well enough to really.
Sometimes it's hard to break down complex issues.
I mean,
and it's hard to simplify complex issues.
Well, it's
because
not,
you're either leaving important things out.
I mean, I'll agree and disagree. It's not.
It's not impossible, but it's
not if there is some level of trust. If there's no trust, then I can't. But I can make it real simple if you trust that I know what I'm talking about. But if I give you the simple answer and you don't trust me, then no. Then I have to go through that process to prove that you need to trust me on this thing. Yeah. I think maybe that's my problem. Like, you need to trust me on this, not because I'm some special whatever, but I do know what I'm talking about. How do I? And then it's like, well, how do I prove to you that I know what I'm talking about? I go back to A, B, C, and D before the E that you're actually asking about gets answered. And I feel the obligation to go through all that, and I think that's off-putting to people. And that was a realization I had trying to talk to my mom. So I feel like it's off-putting because I go into this lecture of all this stuff that is the context for why the answer is this. But you're not going to. But it's also frustrating for me because this is the answer, but it's too easy when I say just the answer and you don't believe me. And it's like, well, fuck, I don't know what to do. Are
they receptive to some of the explanation?
Somewhat, but it's still just kind of like, yeah, like it was funny, like with my mom, bless her. She was talking about, we were talking about like immigrants and deportations and all that kind of stuff. And she's not like full like Trump train on or anything, but she at least leans that direction. But then she tells me the story about how there's this lady that for her mission outreach at her church is she teaches ESL. She teaches English as a second language. And she has this one particular lady that she's working with who has been in the country illegally for a long ass time. And she's trying to help, like, the lady can speak decent English and she can function decently in English, but she can't read it at all. And one of the things that they do, and they may have to stop doing because of some of this legal stuff, is they try to help people function through their citizenship process.
Yeah.
And one of the services that they provide is English as a second language teaching, because you have to be able to write in English to take the tests. And it's like the lady knows the answers, but she can't read the question or write the answer because she can't read or write in English.
All right.
And it's like, would you feel bad if some random mass people came and grabbed her off the street and she disappeared? Yes. Well, then why are you okay with it? And does she deserve to be here or not to be here? That's a whole different conversation. There's all these different parts and pieces in play, but it's like you're kind of giving me the lean, like it's okay that we're snatching people off the street and throwing them into an El Salvador gulag. But at the same time, you're telling me this kind of sob story about this lady you personally know that you would probably feel terrible about if she just disappeared one day. I don't understand. Like, there's some equivalency here that I can't figure out.
I think some kind of focus on the idea of, I mean, they were told this, that, we're going after, the biggest and the baddest, basically. We're going after gangs. We're going after criminals. I think people were more willing to be okay with that. Like, okay, well, drug dealer or whatever gets picked up by a masked agent, I'm not as concerned.
Right. Well, that goes back to what we were talking about prior episode. It's like, we got to have due process to make sure that's true.
Right.
Because just because I have a bad tattoo doesn't mean I'm a drug dealer. And
We're speaking a different language.
MS-13 or whatever the F it is, you know, like, I don't fucking know. I just, like, I don't know. Like, I don't see, like, there's no part of this that I see a positive value in. I do agree with, I do agree with immigration and border patrol. Like, I don't have any issue with that we need to have a robust and thorough process to how we do this. And that people who violate that probably need to get bounced out of here. But you better be fucking right when you bounce them out of here.
Right.
And again, you don't need to hide. If you need to hide to do it, then it feels like you're doing something wrong. Even if you're not. Maybe that's a better way to illustrate that thing to me, the mask thing to me. So if you need to hide to do it, it feels wrong, even if it isn't. It just feels wrong. It's branding at this point, which is half of politics at this point anyway.
I wonder if some of it's just like pressure put on, because I know they've, in months past, they talked about, you know, we want to have so many deported per month or whatever. So I wonder if some of it's just like a numbers game of like, you know, hey, you've got to go out and find 10,000 people this month or whatever.
And I think the other thing in play too is that like we have this zero sum politics that we've all of a sudden landed in, where it's like, and it was on Jesse's last episode, or a couple episodes ago. I don't remember, whatever it was. Check out Jesse's podcast, Progressive South. Anyway, you know, like one of the guests he was talking to was like, you know, these are these are people and they deserve this, that, and the other. And it's like, well, some of those things I agree with. Yeah, they deserve to be able to live and stuff like that, but doesn't mean they don't deserve to live here. Like whose rule is that? And so it's like, I hate Trump, and the like there is a segment of the left that is like that is to the irrational level of immigration law. And the way politics has become is that there's no room for the real middle ground conversation anymore. That's the overarching problem that we have dealt with from day one in our conversations, and probably through the history of time. But like there is this thing where it's like none of it should exist, or all of it should exist. It's like, well, no, we got to find the correct middle ground here, the agreed upon middle ground here, and that's not an allowable conversation. Like it's hard to find, or it's hard to find that spot. Like I mean, certainly in media coverage doesn't help it either. But like it's hard to find that spot where we can have a real, down to earth conversation about, okay, like realistically, how are we supposed to do this? How are we supposed to do immigration and customs enforcement? Like, is it completely open borders? Anybody who wants to come here, we say, yeah, come on. And as soon as you get here, you're automatically part of the big system that we have in this country. Is that the solution? Is that how we want to do this? That's a conversation that is an option in the conversation worth having. The polar opposite of that conversation is, do we lock it down and nobody's allowed to come in this country without a significant amount of paperwork before they get here? And some of that paperwork includes you're only allowed to be here X number of time, and there's a way that if you're here past that time, we get you out of here. Okay. So those are our two outside parts. But where's the middle ground here?
Yeah.
You know, like where's the real middle ground here that we need to actually figure out the correct answer to? And I think one of the things to give the Trump administration a little bit of leeway, for lack of a better word, it's like if the agreeable spot is not quite to the full, complete, you know, isolationism that people try to illustrate it as, but it's some sort of significantly more controlled version of border policy. You know, like, okay, like this is what we're trying to get in place. All right, well, if this is what we're trying to get in place, we can put that in place, but then we have to get to a point where that makes sense. And to get to a point where that makes sense, we have to do all this crazy shit to get back there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you can't like if this is an agreeable, realistic spot, you know, politics aside, like if this is an agreeable, realistic spot that we want to get to, okay, well, we have all of this that has happened through the past that we need to clean up to get to this spot. Some of that's going to be ugly. But we've never agreed on the spot in the first place, which makes it then the political device of, it's like, okay, well, if we had agreed on this spot and if we need to get back there, we need to do some of this ugly stuff to get us back there.
It's necessarily necessary to do ugly stuff.
There is some level of ugly that's going to happen. There's going to have to be some level of cold, you know, yeah, your kid was born here. They're allowed to stay. You're not. Stuff like that is going to happen in this if we're going to some, you know, depending on where the line is, obviously. But even in that, okay, fine, you have an anchor baby and your child is a U.S. citizen, you get to stay here with some limited visa access or whatever. Whatever that is, we got to figure that out. But it's somewhere in that to get back to the spot where this is the spot that we agree upon, and this is where we're moving forward with border policy to get cleaned up and to make it correct. There's going to have to be some backtrack in cleaning up the past.
Yeah, but there's definitely a backlog of like court cases, whether it be asylum or just acceptance to coming in. Because not all coming into the border, legally, are filing asylum claims. And we're like, hey, I want to come into work. Where I don't know if they have to get a work visa prior to, or if you can get a work visa.
You're supposed to get prior to, I believe. Like a work or a school visa, you're supposed to get before you enter.
Okay.
Because that would be, it would be gross. Like, that's a different version of gross. It'd be gross if we had like straight up work visas for these farmers, for these farm slaves that we have now. It'd be kind of gross. It's like, yeah, you can come and you can come work the farm for the season, then you got to go back to Mexico, and we're going to pay you dirt. And we don't have to treat you like citizens, but we'll let you in to work for a little bit.
Who was it? I think it was Tom Homan, or I think he's the head of ICE or whatever. But I think he was proposing that Medicaid recipients could fill the gap in farm workers.
Some of them can. That's another one. Same premise, different topic. It's like with these welfare and Medicare reforms and stuff like that. That at least if you take the right version of the story, it's like we're trying to get rid of the fraud and abuse. It's like, yeah, if you're an adult that is physically capable of working and are not working for reason A, B, or C, and you're on the dole, what's wrong with putting some requirements on that? Be like, hey, you got to at least try to get a job. You got to try to do some stuff.
My guess is
I think most states have that.
Because it opens up a basement.
I don't know. It's not state stuff. The states administer what the feds give them. At least that's the argument from the right, is that a lot of that's what Burchett was talking about the other day.
I thought you had to do it here for TennCare, which is our state Medicaid.
Right. I think it depends on the specifics.
I thought you had to. I could be wrong, but I thought you had to apply to at least 2 or 3 places a week or every couple weeks.
Right, there is some of
basically every time you refile to.
Well, it's like the whole unemployment thing. Like, unemployment is only counts people who are trying to work. And so,
I might be mixing it up with unemployment insurance or unemployment pay.
Yeah, or right. So, but again, there is something that I think is, and I think that's what gets tapped into from the Trump and the right, is you're 35 and you're more or less functional, healthy adult, and you don't have a job and you just stay at home and play video games all day. I'm not okay with paying for that. When my tax dollars are going to that, I'm not particularly cool with that.
Yeah,
I can see that argument getting played. You've got to at least fucking show me some goddamn effort, and if your effort fails to get you on the thing, we'll keep you. We don't want you to starve or go homeless or whatever, but you got to try.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a valid conversation to have. And I don't. Again, I'm not trying to give the Trump administration any credit, because half of what they're doing is just making it so damn complicated to navigate it that most people just give up and don't get it. Like, they're closing offices, and so you can't go talk to somebody, and long ass wait times on the phone and stuff like that. You got to go here and talk to this person and go there and talk to that person. It's just easier to starve to death than it is to bother with this.
Right.
Which is not the right way to go about it. But it's I could get behind the core ideas of some of these things. Execution's problematic for me. It's like, what are we doing? But we can't agree upon it, and everything turns into these fucking political arguments instead of the actual functional argument about substance. And I suppose that's the bottom line here. Even going back to talk to my mom, it's like it turns into this politics thing. It turns into a politics thing instead of it being what's the substantive solution here? What's the problem? We'll go back to our parks thing. What's the problem? The problem is I don't feel safe or comfortable in the park because there's homeless people there. And then we get, what's the solution to that? There's 1,000 different solution options. Now, none of the solutions, at least on the city thing, are. It's not to help the homeless and get them sorted. It's just to get them out of the fucking way, which means they're going somewhere else. Which was a funny one in my court hearing today. One of the defense attorneys was trying to kind of, how do I word this? They were trying to illustrate Happy Holler as a little bit of a rough neighborhood. And it's like, well, you know, is it like totally uncommon that kind of bad things happen in that neighborhood? Like they were kind of like alluding to that kind of stuff. And my employee who was on the stand at the time, it's like, yeah, I mean, every once in a while we have problems with the homeless and stuff like that, but like, you know, that's like everywhere.
Right.
It's like, that is the best answer ever. Like that was a perfect answer. You know, like they were trying to pin it into like this, you know, because we do have a homeless problem in the Happy Holler, 100%. But I'm sitting here talking about how I have a homeless problem in Rocky Hill Ballfields right now.
Right.
You know, like me and the missus were talking the other day. Like there's a couple of spots that make me uncomfortable. There is, what's it? The Texas Roadhouse, that old Kmart. What is it now? The furniture place.
Knoxville Wholesale. Right.
Knoxville Wholesale Furniture, the Chick-fil-A, Texas Roadhouse, Taco Bell in that shopping center.
All right.
The exit from there that comes on to Morel. There's very often somebody standing in that little median at the light, bumming as you're waiting on the light to change.
Right. And
there's that one, and there's the one on the Paper Mill exit. If you're going westbound on 40, get off at Paper Mill to turn left onto Paper Mill. There's very often a guy that sits down there at that interchange. And those are the two specifics that I always think of that make me very uncomfortable, because I'm stuck. And, you know, I try to do the whole thing. I don't look. I don't make eye contact. I try to, you know, but it's just one of those, like, the paranoia in me, whatever you want to call it. You know, it's like, I don't know the situation with this guy. I don't know what his deal is. He's got his little sign, God bless, or whatever. And, like, I try to ignore it or whatever, but it's like, there's part of me that just can't help going down some dark rabbit hole of, like, what if today's the day that he just fucking breaks and starts, you know, like starts trying to open doors and break into cars and bothering people, like not just being there, but starts to do something. And I'm stuck because there's the cars in front of me are stopped at the light. I'm behind the car in front of me. There's a car behind me. There's a car to my right. All stopped at the light. I have nowhere to go.
That's why you don't get too close to the car in front of you.
Even if we do, like at that, like especially at the Paper Mill exit one. Okay, so I leave enough space. I can turn left into the person, into the guardrail.
There's a median there.
No, there's not. There's about 6, maybe 10 feet into a guardrail.
Is it?
Like you might be, like you could probably get there. You're going to hit something, but you could probably get there where you get into that shoulder and drive through it. But in the process, I'm running over the guy. And do I get an attempted murder charge because, you know, I don't know, the guy reached for my door handle, and it's like, what do I do here? Like, what do I do? Like, what do you do? Like, literally in this situation. Guy reaches and starts pulling your door handle. Because I think my car, I think the driver's door would open. Because it's not locked automatically. Like, I think even if it's locked, it's going to unlock, I think. Depends if I have it in driver park or not. I don't know.
Right.
I'm just saying, like regardless of what the functional technology of my car does in this situation, what would I do in this situation? Like, what would I do in that situation? If he starts grabbing on my door, pounding on the window, like, get out, motherfucker.
Hey, Matt, I saw...
I'd say most people's initial reaction is to try to either drive forward, drive backward, drive out of that situation.
Right, but again, in the situation, I have a car in front of me, I have a car behind me, I have cars to my right. The only place I'm going is left into him or her.
All right.
And even if I do go left into him or her, I'm not. It's not. And you know, again, I'd have to go be there right now to look at it. It would be very close for me to get past them enough, and I don't know if there's enough shoulder for me to get past the cars in front of me and get out of there without hitting other cars or hitting the guardrail or the individual in question in the process. And I'm now wrapped up in like a attempted vehicular homicide charge because I have no proof of what spurred me from, you know, sitting there at the light because some person was there and me doing what I did. I do need to get it. I need to get a dash cam. You're right.
I guess it's how you can articulate the fear of your life in that
right. But again,
instance.
but regardless, it's like, well, but it's a the specific of the situation is secondary to the core cause of the core cause of that situation existing is the bigger problem. That's the problem we need to look at, and that's not the problem.
But they put signs up saying that it's illegal. That's what's funny to see them standing next to the sign that says like no panhandling.
Right. I'm not sure if that's the spot where they have it or not. Like there are some spots.
I'm sure there's a sign there. There's one off like Walker Springs. I see some there. I'll see some off like right there, like Lovell and Turkey Creek.
Right, but I was saying, okay, so regardless of my particular situation and how this whole thing pans out, if the panic mode hits and I freak out and do whatever, we're in Knoxville for fuck's sake. Like 9 out of 10 people are going to have a gun and they're going to like. I mean, I don't carry as much as I probably like. I feel like I probably should. Like, I don't know. Like that's part of why I don't carry, to be honest with you, because there's situations where I'm like, I'm glad I don't have my gun on me because I might do something stupid. So. But again, like I don't know. It's but again, like none of that addresses the root issue here. The root issue is homelessness at large. Like, what the fuck are we doing as a society where it's this rampant at this point? And how are we not better at dealing with this?
I think I've heard stated a number of times that like one of the number one reasons is people going into like medical debt, basically.
Yeah, that's like I hate the idea. Like I hate the single payer model. I really do. But at this point, I would support it just for fucking doing something. Let's try something, for Christ's sake. Because current status quo ain't cutting it. I did see Ozempic, or one of those fat loss things, has had some FDA warning about people getting messed up on it.
What?
One of the weight loss ones.
Right.
That, like, there's some long-term issues with it. There are people that have been using it long-term are having issues.
Damn.
And it's like, well, duh.
Usually happens with a lot of wonder drugs. Years later, like, oh yeah, there are some like weird side effects. Some things just don't. I mean, happens with a lot of pharmaceuticals that you don't find out these things until 5-10 years later.
Well, and it's
on
also off-label use.
usage.
I mean, it was most of. I mean, the core formula in most of these weight loss things that are out now is it's like an A1C inhibitor.
Yeah, I was supposed to say, I thought it was like a diabetes drug, and they were like, oh, you can lose a lot of weight on it too.
Right. I don't know. Like I don't know. Like that. And I don't know. I'm so scared. I'm so scared of the future. AI's freaking me out. See going back to federal shit. Pentagon, like a multi-billion-dollar purchase of the Gronk.
Yeah, I thought they got like a contract or something with it.
It's
great timing too, after all the lovely things Grok has been saying recently.
Yeah, I said that there.
Yeah, nothing like the anti-Semitic Hitler praising AI to assist our armed forces in their decision-making processes. I mean, it's weird. Like, so I guess there was a Microsoft update recently. I don't recall it coming through my computer, but so when I do Scott's podcast, he sends me the notes for the show. Like, this is what we're going to talk about today. And he sends it to me in an email. I copy and paste from that email into Word so that I can blow it up bigger and have that window open for him and me while we're doing the show. Mm-hmm. And so this is the first time I've opened Word on this computer in a couple weeks because I haven't recorded in room since the 4th of July. And no, the 3rd of July, because I did his on Thursday too. Anyway, and well, actually, no, it's been longer than that because I didn't use it that time because we were doing a Zoom version. Anyway, I opened Word for the first time, and instead of it just being a blank page, there's a little header on the top that looks like a Google search bar. And then above it are some suggestions. And it's whatever Microsoft AI is that's built into Word now. And like one of the prompts is like, create a 5th grade quiz, a 5th grade math quiz.
Out of that information.
With nothing. Like, it was just literally like fill in this prompt to what you want to write right now, and we'll go ahead and create it for you.
Yeah, okay.
It's like, oh shit, okay. Like, I've been meaning to test it for funny's sake. Let's do it right now. See what happens.
Yeah, I think I saw something the other day, and I want to say it was like a couple of years ago, where like some comedians got together. I don't know what AI it was, but basically they asked the AI to write a comedy set with their kind of style or whatever, and it was the comedians kind of like looking to see what AI would come up with when it was kind of pretending to be them, based on their previous material, their style of jokes, etc.
All right, so I just threw in the prompt
It's that one.
bar employee manual,
Oh.
and it just dumped me out a 6-page employee manual. I'm gonna have to read through this and see how good it is.
I mean, it's been a year or two since like students have gotten caught of using AI to essentially like write an entire paper for them.
Where'd that go?
I mean, it's just I don't
It's
know.
just like, write me a paper on Macbeth. It's like, okay, done.
Hey, Matt.
Right.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
We used to have to read Cliff Notes and shit.
Yeah, between that and the deepfake stuff going on right now. So in the road trip, I on the road I was listening to Snafu. Did I tell you about the Snafu podcast?
I don't think so.
Like when I went down and picked up Max from Atlanta, I listened to season 3.
Okay, yeah, you were telling me about that.
That was the Prohibition one. Season 1 was a Cold War nuclear breakout scare.
We go back to the bunker.
Autumn, I can't remember. Autumn something was the name of the thing, and then season 2 was Prohibition. No, let's see, who's Prohibition? The Medberg. Ever heard of the Medberg?
I don't think so.
Medberg is a FBI code name for the Media, Pennsylvania burglary. The burglary was for, the FBI offices in Media, Pennsylvania. It was a 70s anti-war activist group who broke in, and so it was the beginning of the end of the Hoover FBI. It was a fantastic, cool, neat, like real heroes, Edward Snowden level. Like the Snowden would be the modern example of what they did. Basically, at the time, the FBI was like thought of as like the good guys kind of thing, and this is when Hoover was in like full paranoia, like warrantless activist surveillance. You know, just anybody that the FBI felt like whatever, which was apparently any black kid that made it into any college was surveilled by the FBI at the time. And the COINTELPRO was another one of the programs that was discussed in the thing. But essentially, it was just like the FBI was just doing whatever the fuck they felt like doing, and it was not about like the FBI is supposed to be law enforcement, right? They're supposed to go and investigate, find criminals, and arrest them and put them in jail. And it was like, nah, this is like counterintelligence 101. They're, like what was it? There was I can't remember the name of the actress. There's an actress in Hollywood. And so one of the programs they did as part of COINTELPRO was what they called poison pen letters. And FBI agents would write letters to people and people around people that were just completely made up stuff to make these people look bad. So it was like Fred. It was one of the MLK ones, like one of the most famous ones. It was Martin Luther King. They wrote a letter to Martin Luther King and his wife on his way to go get the Nobel Peace Prize. And it basically said, you need to kill yourself because we caught you with this. Like, it wasn't like it's not from the FBI. It's like they write it from the perspective of somebody else in the movement kind of stuff.
Right.
And it's completely fabricated, whatever. Some of it was like true, like there's truths in there and mix and match and stuff. And it's just literally just like, just paranoia fodder is all they're trying to do. And trying to get you to quit so they don't have to stop you kind of stuff. It's crazy. Very interesting. I'll send you a link to the episode. Not the show. It's a good listen. It makes you angry. And so the church committee was one of the things that came out of that. The church committee basically investigated the FBI and the CIA for their misuse of the powers given to them and kind of stuff like this. And so this kid that was, at the time, he was a kid that was an assistant to Senator Church, who was the head of the church committee that was looking into this. And one of the things about the Snafu show that I really like is they kind of touch on, the thens and now. Like, what's the difference between then and now? How do we look at it? Are there parallels to things that were the problems then that we're doing now? And it's like this guy that was like central to the church committee, which was the legislative investigation into the FBI, into the CIA, into the NSA, and all this stuff about how they were abusing their powers and stuff like that. He's like, the idea that the what was the 9/11 one?
9/11 Commission?
Patriot Act.
Oh, okay.
That the Patriot Act is still in play is mind-boggling. It's like, this is old FBI, where they had to go out there and physically do it. Like, all their surveillance and stuff right now, and they're doing all that stuff right now tenfold. Snowden showed us that, and the fact that he's like, Snowden did it wrong. He's like, he was saying, I'm still in the loop with enough people that there are intelligence oversight committee members that if Snowden had gone to them instead of gone public with it first, that it would have gotten its day in court and it would have gotten looked at, and Snowden would be looked at as a hero instead of a traitor. And it's like, but wait, Snowden exposed the thing. He did it in the wrong format. Okay, fine. How is he still a traitor, though? He's like, Snowden showed us that the CIA and the FBI are back to doing what they were doing in the anti-war movement, Vietnam stuff. That at the time was a huge deal, and we put the church committee together. The church committee did its thing, and coming after that, the both President, I think it was Nixon at the time, who tried to get it was still Nixon at the time because Hoover died. Nixon at the time, and that legislative body had put a whole bunch of new restrictions and oversights and all this different stuff in place on the FBI, whole bunch of new policy and procedure and all this kind of stuff that they had to follow, and that they did for a while, and then they slowly started creeping back, and we're back to, like, that's the thing about the Snafu show that's frustrating and awesome. Like, it's cool because it gives you perspective on what's happening right now, but it's not cool because it's like that shit's happening right now again.
All right.
And so it's a very interesting listen, but it's also like this guy is still alive. Like, he did his job. His job. He was recruited by church. He apparently interned with him or something like that, and church hired him to come help him with this committee. And he's went through all this. It took him 18 months. They went deep down in the fucking rabbit holes of all the different shit they were forced to be given access to, and they had to fight to get access to all this different quote classified stuff and all this kind of crap. And it's like, it's all the stuff that's happening now. And he's like, I took great pride in what I did, and it also breaks my heart that we're right back to where I was.
Right.
And it's like, well, fuck. It's like, cool. I guess it's cool that we can talk about it and we know about it, and there's this great podcast of it, and Ed Helms, some random actor, comedians putting this thing out, and it's fun, and it's engaging. And I think that's the thing that's exciting about it, is that we have this whole format that is podcast, not ours, but that does it in a format that's like, normal people wouldn't go through the more newsy version of this, but the Ed Helms version of this is very fun. And it's very engageable. It's a good documentary that you want to watch. Mm-hmm. But then it makes you mad because it's like, yeah. So anyway, Snafu, everybody, I'll plug them in. It's a good one. I even listened to Rachel Maddow for an hour from Snafu. She's got some similar style podcast that she put out, which is the Great Sedition of 28 or something like that. Apparently there was like this Nazi thing that happened where the Nazis were trying to take over the U.S. government.
I don't think I've ever heard that.
Exactly. And that's what's interesting about it. Like, it's literally historically called the Great Sedition of whatever. It's like, well, it's so great that we forgot about it.
Yeah, there's a lot of history that kind of gets glossed over.
Right. But I mean, that's what this is that's like, it gets glossed over and minimized. And it's like, I mean, that was the thing. The thing that hooked me on the show was the Prohibition series, because it's like, I thought I understood the Prohibition. And it's like, no, it was way bigger than that. There's way more shit going on. It was way dirtier and way grosser and way more corrupt than that.
Yeah.
Than what we were taught. And it's like, everything's that way. Everything's that way. I don't have enough time. I don't have enough energy.
complex.
It is, but it's like I don't know. Part of me wants to just like specify. I need to pick something and just go down that rabbit hole. And that's it. That's all I do. I know everything inside out and upside down and backwards about this thing. And maybe that's the only way my mom will actually trust me on the topic. Is that if I am the world's
certified
foremost
expert?
I am the world's foremost expert on.
Right. I teach an online class about this. I accredit other people to be specialized in this field.
But think about that too. It's like, it's kind of what's fun about doing a podcast, but it's kind of what's weird too. It's like the fact that the fact that we record this doesn't make me right. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, definitely.
But there is a credence to it, and there's a credence to like the written word. It's like, there's been books written on this. It's like, well, you write a book. What's the difference in me talking out loud and you writing a book?
Generally, reading a book, you're kind of like proofreading, compiling a lot more information versus just kind of.
I mean, we're talking off
free
the cuff,
form,
but
right.
but still, this form in the format that we do, yes, you're right. But in like some of these podcasts that are out there.
All right.
I mean, they're like for all functional state, they're no different than a well-written book.
Right. A few that I really like, I mean, they talk about it being like a months-long process to do an episode, as far as just background, interviewing different people.
Yeah, I mean, these Snafu episodes are probably months, if not years, in the making.
Yeah.
Because they go out and do all these different interviews, and like that's one thing. Like I love, and I wish I knew how to. I wish I could do it. Is like they're compiling all these different interviews, and there's the overarching story, and they're telling the overarching story in 8 chapters. And it's like, how do you sit down and do an interview? Like Jesse does this on his show too, and I find it fascinating. How do you because one of the last episode we did together, he went down to Louisiana at this women's immigrant detainee center and hung out for this protest, and then went to some other protests with the same people involved and whatever, and like talking to people on the street kind of thing. And it's like, how do you like I just don't like it doesn't my brain doesn't work that way where I could sit I can stop and talk to you about a topic for a little bit, and then talk to this other person about the topic for a little bit, talk to this other person about the topic for a little bit, and then write an overarching story, and then pull a clip from you in, pull a clip from them in, pull a clip to this other person in, and it kind of continues that same arc. That's just not how my brain works. I get it, but I don't know how to
I would guess he's probably taken those individual pieces and then kind of creating the arch within it. Like,
right.
Okay, this person talked about this. This will lead into this. This I can mention this that will lead into that. So you're almost kind of having to
right. It's reactive to what your people are talking about.
What's given to you,
but it's also you still have
But you can also preempt them with certain questions or whatever.
Right.
Not necessarily elicit a desired answer, but you can kind of pigeonhole a certain subject that you want them to talk about that.
Yeah. No, I mean again, I get that it's a thing. It's just not how my brain works as a thing.
Right.
Like I would love to be able to do that. I don't know. Not this show. Not what I want to do in my show is not. That's not the idea that I want to do. But I wouldn't mind the premise of doing a long form podcast as a separate entity of this one, but I just don't. My brain doesn't work that way. I'm trying to think of a local topic that I would really want to really expound upon, but I don't know, this stupid tax thing, the city sales tax thing, and how that relates to a county sales tax thing, and what it means for the voters and the populace and all that kind of stuff, and really break that down and talk to all these different people that do it, and then format it into one long arching storyline. That's just not how my brain works.
Right.
I'd like to do it. I'd like to go and talk to American Canyon and go talk to Mary Jacobs and then get the quotes on this and get the quotes on that and then talk to different counselors and talk to different random citizens and be like, well, this, that, and the other. But really, at the end of it, get the proper explanation of what's happening so that you understand it in an entertaining way that makes you want to listen to it and learn it.
Right.
I'd love to be able to do that. It's just not me. Yet? Okay. I don't know. Eric's been hitting me up trying to get this schedule together. I need to get this Eric Wider interview together. But then again, that's the same thing. It's I don't come with notes when I do interviews. It's not the point. I've got stuff that I want to talk about. I don't know. I don't know what I don't know. That's and maybe that's part of what it is where I've refused. Like I haven't gotten the schedule to them together. I haven't got it scheduled yet with Eric yet. But it's like I don't even know if I want to talk to him. Like I do, but I don't.
No, dude, I need.
And I'm not going to get what I want out of it. I don't know if anybody else is going to get anything out of it. But I think it's worth trying to have the conversation. I don't know. Like, what am I going to talk to him about? Like, who are your candidates? Like, I mean, the stuff that I want to talk to him about, I don't know that I'm going to get good answers on anyway. He's good enough that I'm going to be like, well, what the fuck is a conservative? Like, what does that mean?
Right.
And it's like, okay, well, help me understand how to apply that to this. And he's going to give some good, like, logical, feel-good answer to whatever the question is that I asked that makes it make sense. And it's just like, I don't know, man.
Well, then just don't take it as that.
What do you mean?
Be like, tell me what you're really trying to say.
I did that to the lawyer today, but she asked me if I understood how, like, she was kind of implying if, like, I understood, like, how shatter patterns worked when you put a bullet through glass.
Right.
And it's like, I own guns, and I know how guns work, and I've seen bullets go through glass and what it looks like afterwards. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure these are bullet holes. Like, is this something you wouldn't have seen otherwise? Like, no, I was pretty, yeah, I would have seen this regardless. Like, had I not been told that something had happened and I came in the next day, yes, I would have noticed this.
Right.
I mean, honestly, no.
But I don't know. I need to schedule it. I need to fucking do it and see what happens.
Just decide how much you want to press them on certain issues. I mean, if there's questions you really want answers, don't take the simple answer.
A, I don't know if it matters. B, I don't know. I'm not going to be satisfied regardless. And so, to me, it's like, am I walking myself into a position where I'm going to be more frustrated or less? Because I'm not going to agree with him, and that's fine. But if he does answer the questions, I don't know that I'm going to, like, I'm certainly not going to understand any better because there's, again, number 1A with politics is the easy out. It's like, well, it's, individuals. It's like, it's not individuals. It's party bullshit. But, that's the easy out for any candidate. Okay, well, Eric is running your campaign and telling you what to say and how to say it. So if Eric told me this, then that means it's true for you too, right? Well, no, I get to do what I want. It's like, okay. Well, then what's the fucking point? Like, I don't understand. Like, that's where, like, Eric is irrelevant. Eric is super relevant, but he's irrelevant to what my problem is, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. And my problem is that Eric exists. So what he has to say is irrelevant. Yeah, I guess. Does that make sense? I'm confused on what I'm trying to say right now.
Kind
of. Kind of. I'm trying to think of what else I missed here.
He's leaving to get a drink.
The payer pill.
Everyone needs to drink and just have a break from doing things.
Chris Davis, and a more relevant reason to bring him up, he did send out a presser on city primary election results in the 21st century. As of July 17, 2025, there are 97,382 active registered voters in the city of Knoxville. How many residents?
700,000?
No. Knox County doesn't even have 600,000. City's got like 2. City's at like 280. Or, no, 220. Something like that.
I do like that long 6.
By district, first has got 12,000, second's got 20,000, third's got 17,000, fourth has just short of 20, and fifth has 1440, whatever. City's not voting in this election, not in the primary, and sixth has 13,616 for that total of 97,382. Oh my God, that's so disappointing. Okay, so registered voters in the first district total is 12,000. In the 2021 primary first district, turned out 1,800 votes. In the prior, in 2017 first district, 758 votes of 12,000 people registered.
All right.
The actual population is more like, if it's 220 divided, so let's round up to 240 to make it easier, divided by 6. 40,000 people. 758 people of 40,000 voted. Awesome. Way to go, city.
Do you know the 2021 numbers?
No, I was in the 2017.
Oh, okay, sorry.
District 2's got 20,000 registered, again, of approximately 40,000, so half the residents are registered. In the 21 primary, they a little less than 2,000 bothered voted, so 10%. If you go back to 2017, that's the same number. Way to go, District 2. Now, District 2 only had 2 candidates in 21, which means it's a gimme. It's a reduction primary, so they're both coming out.
Yeah.
So there's no point in voting that primary.
Yeah.
District 3 of 17,605 in 21, 913. That's 2 candidate elections, so it's kind of irrelevant. But more people voted in an irrelevant primary in 2021 than voted in a relevant primary in 2017. Only 792. That's so sad. I wonder how much that costs. Oh, go back to 2013. Holy shit. The total primary in 2013 was 1,800 votes. That's ridiculous. I guess though. Let me take that back a second. Now that I'm looking at it, 0 of these 5 races in 2013 mattered. Districts 1 and 2 had no challenger, 1 candidate running. I'm sorry, Districts 1, 2, and 3 had no challenger. Districts 4 and 6 were a gimme primary because it was all head-to-head. They were both going to the general anyway. That's still crazy. I don't care. 1,800 people bothered to vote.
That is pretty sad.
Anyway, that's fun numbers from that Chris Davis guy who's got a shitty hockey team.
That's pretty cool. He compiled it.
Yeah, he'll generally put some stuff out like this. I like it. We'll see what the general election version of it. Oh, that's a funny story. Did you hear about the auto pen? There's some auto pen arguments.
Well, they brought it up. I haven't heard any new specific details on it.
I mean, I don't know. I don't really care. Signature doesn't mean anything anyway. You know, like there's no it's not truthfully identifying that. Oh, well, I signed this piece of paper. The signature on this piece of paper is irrelevant. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
John signed it. Okay. John signed it with witnesses. People saw John sign it is more important than John signing it. So, I don't know. I do like some of the fucking joke headlines on there. What else we got going on? I'm running out of stuff. I got invited to a virtual town hall, and I didn't answer my phone, so I didn't get in on it.
No.
Bummer. I know. Scott and other media members are very upset. So the new Juvenile Service Center board had their first meeting. It was very procedural. The majority of the meeting was them electing officers, that kind of crap. But part of the meeting is they were given a tour of the Juvenile Service Center, and press wasn't allowed to come along.
So who got a tour?
The 5 members of the body and the guy that they've hired the interim hire to run it until the sheriff's office takes over.
Right.
And Judge Irwin all did the tour of it. Which you've got 5 elected officials in a private dark space whom are obviously talking about what they've been, what their committee assignment has got them doing outside the visual auspices of the press.
I wonder if like a commissioner could bring press along with them.
I mean, I don't know. Like, my guess is it's more about the juvenile.
HIPAA.
Right, it's the juvenile privacy issue. At least was the argument.
Right.
But I don't know. Apparently, like there's 120 beds in there. Average is like 30.
At one time?
Yeah. The average is like 30 beds in use at any time, at any given time.
I guess that's better than overcrowding.
I suppose, but
Get more staff to patient ratio.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know what their what's the word I'm looking for here? What their formula for staffing is. Like, is that you have 20 people that work here, period, or you have 2 people that work here for every 7 inmates or whatever?
Right.
I would hope it's the latter. I mean, with a little bit of cushion, obviously. It's like, well, we had 50 kids in here, and 20 of them got moved over there. I'm not going to fire a bunch of people because we lost, 20 kids.
Right.
But if your average is X, you probably need to dwindle down a little bit, let some people retire, or see if the adult center wants them or something. I don't know. Anything else you got? Anything local that you caught? That
No, nothing big, really. Yeah, I can't think of anything else I've seen.
All right, well, let's get
Nothing
weird.
major.
Let's get weird, motherfucker. Oh, yeah.
Let's see here.
That one hit a little sideways. Excuse me.
I remember seeing the story about it. That I guess it's kind of weird and kind of sad. The guy that jumped from space. Did you ever see that?
He died. Yeah, I did see that.
I didn't realize he broke the sound barrier doing that.
Falling?
Yeah. Yeah, but apparently he passed in a skydiving accident.
I did see
recently. Or paraglider, I guess was what he was on. Let's see, we got some ground squirrels that are taking over.
I mean, for a dude that likes to do the crazy, he made it to 56?
No, I'm not sure how old
I think it was 56. And still doing crazy. I'm not saying I'm glad he's dead or anything, but I'm not surprised either.
Yeah.
At 56 and you're still doing some pretty crazy shit. Anyway, brown squirrels got...
We got some ground squirrels are taking over a North Dakota city, and officials are not amused.
I mean, the rabbits are around here right now are pretty nuts.
Saw a few running
squirrel
around.
joke, nuts.
Ha ha.
I mean, it's not like overwhelming by any means, but like it is noticeable how much more population of rabbits we have this year.
I hadn't really noticed.
It is around here. Like
Yeah.
we go and walk, like we'd walk the dog or whatever, and it's like
Squirrel.
it's rabbit,
Right.
rabbit, big rabbit, little rabbit, big rabbit. We caught like 4 rabbits chasing each other around a tree. And it's like, okay, I'm not mad at it, but it's definitely noticeably more rabbits running around right now. More roadkill rabbits, too.
See, I don't think they have any numbers. I guess they're just taking. I guess they burrow like a mofo in the vacant lots in the middle of town, and growing more plentiful over the past 2 decades.
Well, get some stray cats and you'll be fine.
And apparently, they're like a foot long. Cat might be able to take it down.
Cat will take it down. Cats don't give a fuck. Stray cats don't give a fuck.
It might just drive up the coyote population.
All right, either one. That's my presumption on the game here. There's obviously food and shelter, and not enough predators. Need some murderers on the street. Maybe that's the solution to life in general. We need more murderers.
Yeah, I sent you.
All right, yeah, one more. Let's wrap it.
I sent
See
you.
See here, we had a rock from Mars. Let's see, largest piece of Mars on Earth fetches $5.3 million at auction, but young dinosaur steals the show. At just over $5 million, rare archaeological object in New York on Wednesday. But a rare young dinosaur skeleton stole the show when it fetched more than $30 million.
Man, I want money.
Yeah.
I want stupid money.
Mars rock was 54 pounds.
Oh, okay. That sounds fun.
I mean, it's neat. Like, what do you do with that, though? Like, seriously. Like, the dinosaur, too. Like, short of, like, donating it to a museum, like...
Flex your wealth.
Hey, Matt.
If I had a 54-pound Mars rock in this room...
Well, I'm sorry. I should have been more specific.
We're sitting here doing the podcast. The Mars Rock Podcast.
Just say your time zone.
Are you excited about
No.
it? Like,
Tennessee.
That's weird.
Which is where I live.
I don't get that. I don't understand money in that sense. Like,
Tennessee,
It's
North and
perceived
South
value when you get to that like high-end kind of art stuff and things
yeah,
like
but
that.
like, I mean, who's impressed by that? Like, people that have the money to buy it have the money to buy it,
Right.
and people that don't have the money to buy it aren't
I
going to be that impressed by
I
it
was
because
only able to find
Yeah, I'd say
they don't have the money to buy it, so they'd rather buy stuff that's more practical.
See, astronomy and astrophysics departments and things like that would probably clamor to get that brought in. But that's probably more to bring more attention to their place or their museum.
Yeah, I don't know. Because like Axel's new building down there on Central, got a little tour, and they've got like a 30-foot waterfall in the entryway.
What?
Yeah, it's like it's cool. And it's probably nice. I mean, I could get it for at some level, you know, because it's like an office space, and kind of having that white noise in the background of that waterfall doing its thing is probably helpful.
Everybody's got to go to the bathroom so often.
For
I
all
wonder
the,
why.
for all the ruckus and whatever. But at the same time, it's like, you know, like I respect the fact that you're a company and you're making good money, and this is a, you know, I mean, like they already do, like they had a full basketball court and gym and stuff in there already, and it's like, you know, like amenities for your staff, that's cool, but like a waterfall,
Yeah.
like that's not really a staff amenity. I don't get it. Like I just don't get it. For an office space, like if you're some sort of retail or like restaurant, and that's part of the ambiance thing, and people get excited to come and eat at the restaurant with the 30-foot waterfall, okay, that's one thing.
I do like the big walls that kind of have it's like a semi-waterfall, but it's not really making noise. You just kind of see the water just kind of running down the surface of a big, huge wall.
Yeah, I mean,
I think that looks pretty cool.
And maybe, like, I mean, if it's, I don't know, maybe it's part of a cooling system or something like that, and it helps maintain air temperature.
I'd say if done right, they might be able to like increase like oxygen in the building.
Yeah, I
If
don't
it's
know.
actually kind of like bubbling and splashing. I don't know.
It just seems like like again, it's like cool, but like I don't know. I'd rather get paid more.
Is
for
it
an employee.
logistical?
I mean, if, like as an employee, I'm like that's a nice thing to have,
Right.
but I'd rather get like an extra $10 a month in my paycheck than get excited about some waterfall you built.
Right. How much are we spending on the water bill? How much are we recycling this?
Right. You know, like how about an extra day off a year, a paid day off a year instead of a waterfall. I'll take that.
Yeah.
You know, and maybe it doesn't. And maybe it's illogical if you don't have the comparison as part of the problem. You know, like it'd be hard to. It's hard to say. Well, you get that paid day off because we didn't do this thing that we wanted to do.
All right.
That doesn't really sell well for management, I guess. I don't know. It's just weird. It's cool, I guess. It's good. It's an investment in my neighborhood, and my neighborhood needs investment, so I'll take it. But
So, do they have any people coming in off the streets, or is it pretty much?
yeah, I mean, it's not a place that like they don't bring clients in.
I was about to say, do they have
place.
clients they're trying to show
No,
off to?
it's all it's all phone calls and emails. That's all they do. It's just for the staff. It's not for
If you go to their website, is it featured?
I don't know. I don't know if I've actually been to their website. So
Yeah.
anyway, I like the people there. Like they're some good people. I had a good time. One of their employees came in and was shopping with us, and I was breaking down all sorts of like slang terms that they use and stuff like that. He's like, "We're hired if you want." And I was like, "No, fuck you. I want nothing to do with that shiz. It's a 1,000% commission job. I don't want to work commission.
Right.
I don't want to work there, period, but whatever. Anyway, showtime. Hey, we did a show. We're back. We skipped a week, and I'm sorry we skipped a week, everybody. Don't be Chris Davis and pull me off the side and yell at me for taking vacation, because that's not cool. We're almost agreement at gmail.com. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. We're on YouTube. Go to our website, almostagreement.com. We're on all your favorite podcast providers. While you're at any of these places, please like, friend, share, follow. Text us to your friends. Do what you can do to support the show. tell some more people about us, and I'm going to keep talking, and Sam's going to keep talking, and then maybe I'll bring guest interviews in. I'm going to try to get Eric this week. I got to do it. I just don't know how to do it, and I don't really know if I want to do it, but I'm going to do it because I've said I'm going to do it, I guess. So, scheduling's a bitch. Almost here, everybody. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you guys soon.